And my name is Keon Brown. Welcome to NCCU Live. We've got a great show for you today. It's debate night in America. And we'll have some folks on the show tonight to talk about some of the trending topics happening right now. You do not want to miss today. Your NCCU Live starts right now. And good evening. My name is Keon Brown in New York. It is a great day to be an NCCU Eagle. So grateful that you're here with us tonight. Let's start out with a couple announcements. We are celebrating 110 years of truth and service. Grateful for that. If you have not yet taken your picture and send it in, post it using hashtag NCCU110. Please do that ASAP. Also, you can also follow us on Instagram, Eagles Alumni Network. We want to see you. When you post, make sure you tag Eagles Alumni Network. I hear an echo. I'm trying to fix it, but bear with us. Excited about tonight. Eagles Vote 2020. Today is a powerful day in our country. We will be having we're going to have Kamala Harris and the sitting vice president debating for the very first time tonight. Just a couple of hot button issues that you want to be clear about. Let me pull up just some of the election issues: unemployment, crime, Supreme Court, healthcare, and race. Those are a couple of things that are hot button issues that are trending right now. Also, Eagles in the news. The North Carolina Central University School of Business has received a $400,000 grant to study racial equity in entrepreneurship. So they're currently looking for, let me see here, 25, I believe, students to take part in this fellowship to begin in January of 2021. So if you're interested, if you know any student that's currently at NCCU that could do well with that, please let them know to talk to the School of Business. Congratulations to the North Carolina Central University School of Business for your $400,000 grant for equity in entrepreneurship. Let's see. Of course, another trending topic is the President of the United States has coronavirus. And I think people want to talk about it. Let me see who's on here. We've got a great guest tonight a little bit later on to talk about the medical situation. She's on the front lines as a doctor of pharmacy. So we're interested in hydrochloroquine and all the other things that are trending right now. So we're excited about that conversation and so much more. Also, somebody from the Department of History is coming on in a moment. I think Raja is here. We are so excited about her future, Dr. Rahim. Let's bring her in. Let's see if we can add you in there. There you are.
Hello.
Good evening, future doc.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing well. Let me try to fix my sound. I hear you over here. Let me make sure I can hear. Let's see here. All right. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
All right. We're going to rock with it. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I get a lot of messages that Alpha Lambda is in the building, so I just want to make sure I acknowledge, give credit where credit is due. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Excellent. Can you tell folks a little bit about you and the work that you're doing and your pursuits and your doctoral degree right now?
Oh, yes. My name is Malikah Rahim. I am a Maryland Yarborough Dissertation and Teaching Fellow at Kenyon College in Gambier, Ohio, as well as a PhD candidate in history at the University of Florida. My research interest looks at race, gender, class, and politics in connections with sports and athletes, particularly Black athletes. My dissertation research looks at the founding and history of college basketball at historically Black colleges during the 20th century. So I look at how African Americans used the game as a site of solidarity and resistance from 1912 to 1972.
Incredible. Mind blowing. How did you come to that research topic?
Well, I am a two-time graduate of North Carolina Central University out of the history department. I had wonderful advisors and professors from Dr. Jim Harper to Dr. Freddie Parker. And upon my senior year in undergrad, I was looking for a research topic to pursue for my master's degree and for my master's thesis in particular. And I was given the name John B. McClendon. And having worked in the Department of Athletics as a sports information assistant and media relations assistant, I really didn't make the connections initially that I was walking into the gym that had his name on it. And so through my research, it's just developed over time. And so I'm here, 8+ years later. I've expanded it from looking at the 15 years of John B. McClendon at North Carolina Central into looking at colleges within the CIAA at large during those times. I can't hear you.
Trying something new there. Trying to get rid of this echo. Come on, technology. I'm excited about your work, and I look forward to hearing more about it. And I think that this should be a part of our required reading list for undergraduate students. This is what gives the pride in our university, and I think it's missing in some aspects. And knowing the history of the names on the buildings, I think is so critical to get our kids more acclimated to who we are and what we can be as Eagles.
Right.
Future Doc, how did NCCU find you?
Ooh, I think I found North Carolina Central, and it was a blessing that I did. I was grateful for the opportunity in my time there. Actually, my senior year in high school, I had a fellow track teammate who went to North Carolina Central to begin his career there in the program. And he returned home and just told me that North Carolina Central was the school for me, that it was something about it. He didn't know yet, but he said that I deserved to be there and I needed to be there and that I would pretty much find who I was. And, he was pretty right during those times. So I pretty much went home after that conversation. I looked up North Carolina Central University. I then took a quick trip down to North Carolina. I walked the campus, just me and one of my closest friends. And I fell in love. I returned home. I put in the application and it was history.
This is such a consequential election coming up. What is the top issue in your mind that you would be a big advocate for, even in this moment as we get our folks out to vote in less than 30 days?
One of the hot topics, of course, and one that I study is racial injustice and social injustice, and figuring out ways to bring marginalized people, communities, and institutions into mainstream America, having their voices heard. So, a part of that is really understanding how the Black Lives Matter movement not only brings African Americans in and Black people, but people from other marginalized and underrepresented communities, from LGBTQ to women and across the board. And so it's bringing, again, the rights of immigrants to the forefront as well. And these are topics that everyone should be concerned about because whether we realize it or not, it affects our everyday lives as people.
How can HBCUs be on the right side of history in this election? The sitting president touts that he actually saved HBCUs by signing the document that supports HBCUs, their funding. How can HBCUs be on the right side of history?
Well, speaking from my experience in North Carolina Central, we can continue to do what we've done in the past to encourage students and alumni and faculty and staff to get out and vote, to to register people to vote, to make sure that they have access to voting precincts and to mail-in ballots if necessary. We, as alumni and as students of historically Black colleges, we represent the underrepresented communities that are out there, and we are the part of the voices that need to be heard. So we have to do our part. We have to reach beyond the classroom, beyond the walls of higher education, and reach into the local community that is surrounding North Carolina Central and all the other historically Black colleges that exist.
I want to so thank you for being with us so far, Raj. It's Raja, right?
Yes.
Raja. All right, Raja Rahim. So stand by because you know Dr. Hazel. So I want to make sure. Matter of fact, you know Dr. Hazel, right?
She's yes, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
excellent.
no,
Well,
yeah.
uh,
Mhm.
I'm excited to have both of you on. I want to talk to her in a couple seconds, and then I'm going to bring you back on to continue our conversation about hot button issues and North Carolina Central University, how much we love it. Is that all right?
Okay, that sounds great.
All right, I'll be right back with you. That is future Dr. Raja Rahim, Double Eagle from NCCU. We'll be back with you in a moment, okay, Raja? All right. So, of course, trending topic right now is the President of the United States has coronavirus and has returned to the White House. So, I want to ask, bring in Dr. Hazel Richardson. What's up,
Hello,
Hazel?
hello, hello. Good
How
to
you
see
doing?
you. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm excellent. We did this once before, but we had some like tech issues. We were experimenting and playing around with it. I think now we've got it a little bit better, so we had to have you back on. So thank you
Very
for
nice.
being here. Now you have a doctor of pharmacy, and so you're clear about these terms that are coming out, like a hydrochloroquine and all these things. Should the president of the United States have left the hospital?
Absolutely not. He should not have left the hospital without a plan for, self quarantining. Um, he appeared to have labored breathing the day that he was giving his, statements after being released from the hospital. It was very clear that he is still, having trouble breathing. It's a possibility that he's not getting, the right amount of oxygen and things like that. It appears that he, at his age and with his health, should have stayed in the hospital. But even if he was healthy enough to leave, he is on steroids. He is on a kind of trial antiviral medication. Um, he should definitely have just, gone home to quarantine and not parade around to just say, oh, it's nothing. Coronavirus is nothing. That was the wrong message, I believe, to send to the American public about that.
Doc, some people say that the second week of a diagnosis is the worst week. Is that your experience?
Yeah, it has been my experience that the first week that patients, are know that they have it, or when they first start getting symptoms, is very mild. And a couple of weeks out, 10 days out, is when it really seems to take off and, affect the body a little bit more. Unfortunately, I had a colleague that passed away, fairly young, fairly healthy, was doing okay at first, but went to the hospital and got progressively worse, about 7, 8, 9 days in, and didn't make it. So it is nothing to play around with. It's very serious. It's very real. And so, yeah.
For those who are battling coronavirus or are in fear of coronavirus, despite what the leadership has said, don't let it control your life. What are some tactical, tangible things that you would say to the Eagle community that might be watching about coronavirus?
Okay. Well, as a pharmacist, I think it's important to not forget about, especially in our community, what we know about natural remedies. I say do your research and consider supplements like elderberry. Consider supplements like black seed oil. read about them. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone would have. But consider natural supplements that can help boost the immune system and help you fight things off naturally anyway. These are things that even before coronavirus made its entrance into America, have been things that were good to consider using. So take a look at those. But also, we want to do the things that are recommended by the CDC, such as wearing face coverings. The face covering that you wear protects the people that you're around. So you want to protect older people around you. You want to protect younger people or anyone with a potential compromised immune system. So wear your mask, wear them properly, cover your nose, cover your lips, make sure that the mask is covering this whole area and that there's a nice seal around there so that virus is not able to get in or out, should you be carrying without symptoms. Keep your hand sanitizer near, wash your hands. Washing hands is actually always it's more effective than hand sanitizer, but when washing isn't feasible, definitely use your hand sanitizer. And just try to, let's think about what we're doing, right? Do we need to go to the mall? I mean, if you absolutely have to have the shoes now, go get them. But if not, let's try to hold off, continue to do your online shopping if it's affordable, if it's reasonable, and just try to stay away from potentially contracting it in spaces where we're not sure about how safe people are being.
Thank you for that, Doc. I wanted to, and we really send our condolences to you and your colleagues for your loss. We have a couple comments that are reminding me, sorry for your loss, and we send our condolences to you and your team. I know that this is, and thank you for your service, being on the front lines of this, and not having all of the support that you may need to do what you need. That is in America who we are. I just never thought we would be in a space that our people didn't have what they needed to provide care. So thank you for what you do.
No problem. It's my pleasure.
I want to switch gears just a bit to ask you, how did NCCU find you?
NCCU found me because I was blessed to have parents who came to the United States from Nigeria in the early 70s. And they moved to Durham. And Durham is just a gem of a place. I always ask them, of all the places in America, you were just over in Nigeria and said, let's go to Durham. But, Durham found my parents. NCCU is a jewel of a place. It is a part of my entire life from childhood. I mean, games, homecomings, programs, coming over to Durham Public Schools to do things. Even as a dancer, prior to coming to Central, just having an opportunity to work with, dancers from the school, Central has always been a part of my life. Miss Edmonds didn't give me an option. She said that you will come to Central, and she made it possible for me to come. My grades made it possible for me to come on a full ride, which made it that much more attractive, because even being accepted to, Duke and Carolina and other schools, it was less attractive to go there because, I got some scholarship money, but it wasn't a full ride, so that, having an HBCU that made it possible for that to happen and also offered that at-home feeling and the support is something that I'm so grateful for, and I would do it 1,000 times over. I enjoyed it.
I want to ask you, how did you go from a liberal arts education at North Carolina Central University to becoming a pharmacist?
Actually, again, I have to blame Miss Edmonds Harris because she knew that I wanted to go into STEM. And at the time, Central had a program that was combined, because Central has always been ahead of its time. Central understands that it's a liberal arts school, but they understand that there are students that will like to come for other reasons. And so they had a partnership with Howard University at the time for students interested in going into pharmacy. I actually came into Central in that program, where I was supposed to do 2 years at Central and then 3 years at Howard, but I fell in love with Central. I said, I'm gonna graduate from Central. I love North Carolina. I'm from North Carolina. And so then I decided to go and pursue my doctorate of pharmacy at UNC Chapel Hill versus coming, to Howard.
Dr. Hazel Richardson, I'm grateful to have you on again. I want to bring in, let's see, fellow Alpha Lambda. I got to get let me grab her. This is the future doc. Let me pull her in. Future doc. There you go, Raja.
Hey, Sarah.
And I have, Raja is a double eagle 12 and 15, and I've corrected that. So we're excited for any double eagles. I'm about to be a double eagle in May, so I appreciate you, double eagle. And Dr. Hazel, of course, for declining to go anywhere else and to come to NCCU to get that liberal arts education. Ladies, how important is it for Black women in this election? We often hear that Black women are the soul of the Democratic Party and that really save the day on a regular basis. What do you say about the contributions of Black women in our culture at North Carolina Central University in general? However you'd like to share. We'll start with Dr. Hazel and then we'll go to future Dr. Raja.
I would say hashtag trust Black women. We give a lot of thought to things. We know how to organize a home. We know how to organize a community. We know how to organize society, really. And I would say trust Black women. We give a lot of, we know how to make something out of nothing. So if we are leaning towards, voting for a particular candidate, and we are making it clear why we, support a candidate and why it's important to vote for them, I'd say trust us, trust Black women. We have a huge role to play in this, and that's the way I feel.
Future doc.
What more can I add to that besides the fact that I have that actually as a sticker and a hashtag tags in my computer that I carry around with me? But, understand the climate that we're living in. Understand that we have to say her name, Breonna Taylor, over and over to remind people. And she's not the first, right? She comes behind Sandra Bland. It's important for Black women to help organize, but to be in the forefront of the movement, of the struggle, to be recognized for the role that we have, not just in the home, in the workplace, but within education. Speaking of the role of Black women, I walked into a building at North Carolina Central with the name Dr. Helen G. She had the foresight and the knowledge to create a master's program that prepared students for the PhD program. And so I fall in that tradition of Black women who are leaders, not only in the community, but within higher education as well. And I'm proud to follow in that tradition.
Last question for you guys. Well, maybe last, because we got a couple more. We got 5 more minutes. I want to know what class would you teach at North Carolina Central University should you have the opportunity? Dr. Richardson and then future Dr. Rahim.
I would be happy to teach. I'm a chemistry, I got my chemistry degree from Central. I'd be happy to teach first year chemistry students just to help them in so many ways. For one, that transition from high school to undergrad and just, understanding that, all right, you learned everything this way. So here's how you're going to apply it into college, and also to start that mentorship kind of relationship. So I'd love to teach like first year chemistry.
Well, I wouldn't be taking that class. What about you, future doc?
Well, for me, my field is sports. That's my specialty in my research and in my teaching as well. Currently at Kenyon College, I'm teaching a course entitled The Black Experience in United States History Through Sports, from Jack Johnson to Colin Kaepernick. And it allows me to show students the importance of sports beyond entertainment. beyond just going and attending a football game or a basketball game, to really see the role of sports in society. And right now, I'm excited about the course. My students currently are excited about the course, and it's a course that I can take to any institution and apply it from any perspective. And most importantly, at a historically Black college, to bring our sports history to the forefront, to acknowledge the place and spaces that African Americans created before integration and allowed the Black athlete into mainstream sports.
Last question. I love that. I cannot wait to hear more about your research. I think it's such a powerful distinction about sports, not as just entertainment, but just all the larger conversation around what athletics means in the Black community. Let's go with the class that you teach right now, the social justice piece of my frat brother, Colin Kaepernick. How important is it, and how can we tangibly be a part of the social justice experience? And this is to the students who are watching us and anybody. We'll start with future Dr. Rahim and then Dr. Richardson.
Well, we all have a role to play, and it comes in many forms. Protest comes in many forms. Activism comes in many forms, just like social justice is not monolithic in the term and how we seek to incorporate ideas of equality and freedom and equity in society. And so, being that I look at sports, I pay attention to what athletes are doing, not just on the professional level. Yes, we can point to the LeBron James and to Maya Moore of the WNBA, who pretty much put her career on hold to look at prison reform and to work into prison reform. But we have to look at what former college athletes, for example, are doing in their local communities. Right there in Durham, North Carolina, and Raleigh, we have Pooby Chapman, who is organizing in the community with events like Soul Food, for example. And I think that's important because everyone has a role to play. And that could be whether it's on the basketball court or the football field or off.
And really quickly, future Doc, can you talk to the student athletes that are at North Carolina Central or that are watching right now and speak directly to them about this coming election? The next 30 days, there's an opportunity for them to do what? Future Dr. Rahim, what would you say to the student athlete? Might be frozen. What would you say to student athletes? What can they do in the next 30 days to step into a social justice conversation?
They can use their status, their visibility, their position, their platform to advocate for people to vote, for people to use that their amendment rights and their constitutional rights as citizens of the United States. Athletes play a role, not just, again, on the court or on the football field, but they can be leaders and role models in their community.
Sorry, guys. I am experiencing technical difficulties. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, got it. I'm going to leave it there. Dr. Hazel, thank you. I still have Dr. Rahim's name up there, but that's okay. Thank you guys for being here. This is Keon Brown in New York. We have future Dr. Raja Rahim and Dr. Hazel Richardson here on NCCU Live. Thank you guys for watching. Remember that an eagle is no common, ordinary barnyard fowl. Thank you for watching. If you have not joined the NCCU Alumni Association yet, you can still do so. Go to nccualumni.org and give a recurring gift to the university. Go to eaglesgive.com and go ahead and do $19.10 every week if you can. Now, lastly, virtual homecoming is coming. They're trying to sell out the stadium. It's $100. Come on. We need to sell out the stadium. Whatever you were going to pay at homecoming in person, go ahead and send it to the university. We're encouraging you to do it. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next week. Eagle Pride.
Thank you.